So we will start with the very first topic today, the thermodynamics. Now basic of thermodynamics, when we look into it, this is one of the very important topic. So you can expect 4% of question from this particular topic. So you know that you cannot skip anything in the syllabus. So looking into this basic of thermodynamics, first we will look for what is defined by thermodynamics, what are the 3 E's, how it play a very important role in this thermodynamics. Okay, then some of the classification of thermodynamics we will see. Then what are the systems, the systems, and there are a lot many different types of system boundary, then properties of thermodynamics, process of thermodynamics, then we have so many laws of thermodynamics. Okay, so all those things we are going to see in this basic thermodynamics. So talking about the law, first of all we will see the zeroth law, first law, second law, and third law. So as per in your syllabus, we have only most of the time they ask from zeroth law, first law, and the second law. So anyways, we will look into all the 3 core elements, all the 3 laws of thermodynamics. So first we will proceed with a definition. So you must know what is thermodynamics. So it is clearly been stated over here. It deals with energy. It deals with energy either in the form of heat or work. So first of all, before starting with the propulsion, you should know here it is a very scoring subject. Very scoring. You have to remember the formula here. Okay, you have to remember the formula. Now from the formula you can know what are the dependency factor. What are the dependency factor? Then from there we can find out the significance. From there we can find out the significance. Then here sign convention. Okay, sign convention. Sign convention plays a very important role when it comes for the thermodynamics. So especially when we will look into the topic for heat and work done. Okay, heat transfer and work done. So when what happens when heat is added to a system, when the heat is leave from any random system. Similarly, when work is done by the system and when the work is done from the system. So those sign convention play a very important role. Accordingly the states changes. Okay. Then formula, dependency, significance, properties, okay, then units, application. Okay. Basically we need to know these things. So according to these factors we will look. These are the points which I have highlighted for thermodynamics alone for this particular topic. So we will see what are the different types of formula, how their dependency factor means how we can connect from one formula to another formula. So in the GATE exam or any other competitive exam, so they will ask relevant to the comparative factor. So you should be alert with all the different types of formula. Whenever there is a formula, you create a separate formula note. So at the end, before exam, you can prepare this formula. Okay. So and the last moment, and this play and very this going to be a very helpful for you. Okay. Significance. Once you understand the concept or for that particular formula, automatically you can get to know the significance of that those parameters, whether it should be, if one of the parameter is higher, then what will be impact with the other overall parameter. So likewise you should know how that parameters play a significant role for that particular equation. Sign convention, as I've said, negative or positive, it depends, and based on that we will see some of the relevant properties. Okay, units applications. Now as I've said, of 3 E's, study of 3 E's. Now basically thermodynamics is that in a form of heat and work, and it transforms into each other an effect of energy transformation on the property of a system. Now this is a kind of definition. Now what that says, it is actually transmission or transmitting from one to another point, either by means of several properties, maybe a mass, maybe a kind of specific volume, or the work done, right, or the heat transfer from one to another point. It is just transforming. Now how we can measure them and how we can study them? So we can study this transformation in 3 E's. Okay, the first one is energy. As you can see, first one is the energy, second is equilibrium, and the third one is the entropy. So energy means, either it can be in the form of heat or work done. Equilibrium, there are a lot many types. It can be of mechanical equilibrium, it can be of chemical equilibrium, right? So however means the perspective or the example it comes, how you are maintaining the balance between the two systems. Then we have the third one is entropy. Now entropy is moreover like a randomness of a system. Okay, how rapid, how random is the system is. So this 3 E's, we are going to look a deep study about this 3 E's. Now as a recalling what are the different principle of thermodynamics. So we have three laws: zeroth law, first law, second law, and third law. And zeroth law, it deals with thermal equilibrium. So we have to maintain the temperature. Suppose we have 3 bodies. So if 3 bodies are connected with each other, all the 3 body will have the same temperature. So it deals with the thermal equilibrium and measuring of temperature. That is of zeroth law. So when we will go for the zeroth law, we will study more practical examples and some more things. What are the most important thing in zeroth law? These are just a nutshell or the highlighting points. Okay, the first law of thermodynamics, it deals with conservation of energy. Okay, so we have the first law of thermodynamics equation. So from that equation you should know what are the assumptions that they have considered to derive that equation. Okay, so what is the law of conservation of energy? Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So how we can do? So what are the factors how we can maintain the equilibrium state? That also we will see in the first law of thermodynamics. Second law of thermodynamics says that energy transformation from high to low. So most of the cases, what anything, okay, it moves from high to low. So if for an example we have 2 vessels. One of the vessel we have high pressure, another, just take a very good example as a airfoil. Okay, airfoil. So airfoil, what happens in the bottom of the airfoil? Okay, if I draw the airfoil over here, right? So here we'll have the high pressure, here we'll have the low pressure. So obviously it is very natural, from high pressure it will tends to move to the low pressure, right? Why? To maintain the equilibrium. Similarly, so this is just an example of a pressure as I've given. So same thing occurs in the energy. Energy always transmit from high to low. So how we measure them? What are the different heat engines are there? Okay, reversible, irreversible engines. So all those things we will study with relevant with the entropy. Okay, entropy. Then third one is the third law of thermodynamics, absolute zero of entropy. So all those things we will look more deep when we are going for it. So thermodynamics can further classify into types. One is classical thermodynamics and the statistical thermodynamics. There is nothing much to discuss about this classification. Okay, so we will come to this important core. What is thermodynamics? Thermodynamic system. Now you should understand this thermodynamic system well. Okay. Now I request there is some background noise. I think please mute yourself. Thank you. So thermodynamic system. Okay. So there is one kind of system. It is a fixed identifiable quantity of mass. It can be any random mass. For an example, now you're sitting in a room and sitting in a laptop or phone. Now it can be a room, can be of your system. Now what will be the boundary? The walls of that particular room are going to be the boundary, and surrounding, just crossing outside that, is going to be the surrounding outside the system. Okay. So similarly it can be of any random thing, right? It can be, you can take a cup of tea. You can take a cup of tea. Now within the cup, if the cup is like this something, so within the cup it is the complete system. Within this it is a complete system, right? What will be the boundary? The outline, the walls of the cup going to be the boundary. And what will be the surrounding? The outside atmospheric air, okay, whatever we have is going to be the surroundings. So I hope you understood the difference between the system, the entire thermodynamic system. Now this boundary, sometimes it can be of real boundary or can be the imaginary, which separates the system and surrounding. Now here is a system, here we have our tea, okay, hot tea, right? And here is a surrounding, which separates the two things. One is a system and one is the surrounding. The separation is called as a system boundary. Now when it can be of imaginary, for an example, you are now doing some kind of research, and you from the, now let me give you a different example so that will be better. Now you are sitting in a room, right? You are sitting in a room, but you want to analyze the, suppose in a room, this particular location only you want to find. From comparing with the entire thing, you want to find a small part of this entire thing. So what you're gonna do is, then this particular thing becomes your system, right? And this becomes your surrounding, and this temporarily, like which the parameter or the contour where you want to find the contour area or the volume you want to find, that becomes your imaginary surface, which separates the system what you want to analyze and the surrounding. So that's, there are certain reasons that where we can use the ideal and where you are going to use the imaginary thing. Now what is universe then? Universe is this complete pact. Okay, when we combining both the surrounding and system together. Suppose I want to analyze a cup I am having a cup of tea, okay, a cup of tea, and a hot air, a cold air is blowing over it. I want to analyze that. So what I'm going to do, so I'm concentrating the point on certain region. So I am having some atmospheric air or cold air, I am having a cup of hot tea, right, which I am placing. So this becomes my universe, right? So there is a difference between universe, what is universe, what is boundary, what is surrounding, and system. Now we will see what are the different types of boundary. System boundary or the system boundary. There are of three types: the rigid boundary, adiabatic boundary. The first one is a rigid boundary, adiabatic boundary, and third one is a diathermal boundary. Now what kind of question can ask? It can be of assertive and reason type. One type is assertive and reason. Second is the definition based. You should know, or they might give you certain example, or they might give you application. Right? Just a second. Sorry. They just have given you some application, and they might ask you which of the boundary is going to be suitable for this particular application. Okay, so you should know the definition for it. Now what is rigid boundary? The change in volume of a system is restricted. And you know what is system? This is a system, and this system having certain volume, right? Now there, whenever there is some external or surrounding effects, right, this system is not going to change. The boundary of the system, that is a volume, is not going to change. The volume is going to be fixed. Okay. The second one is adiabatic boundary. Now what is adiabatic boundary? The exchange of heat flow in the form of heat is restricted. That means here in the rigid, the volume is fixed basically. What that means? The volume is fixed, but the heat can transfer without affecting the volume, without changing the boundary parameter. The volume is going to be fixed. But here, in case of adiabatic boundary, there can be the change in volume, right? It can change. It can change, but there will not be any sort of exchange of heat. That is by the word adiabatic you can understand. Adiabatic when we use when there is no heat is added into the system. So same has been implemented over here. Then the third one is a diathermal boundary. Okay, exchange of energy flow in the form of heat is not restricted. That means it is just a reverse impact of the adiabatic boundary. Okay, so there can be, if there is a system, we can exchange the heat, or it can exchange the energy. For an example, the few minutes before I gave, there is a cup of hot tea. Okay, cup of hot tea, and a cold air is blowing. So obviously there will be, and the cup, if the cup is made up of steel, so you can easily say in this kind of entire universe, so which kind of boundary it is going to be, what kind of, there going to be, the heat is going to transfer, there is, but the volume, whether it is changing any volume, No, the volume is going to be fixed, because whether it is going to this steel cup going to change any kind of deformation with the boundary? No, right? So here the volume is fixed but heat is transferred, so it is a rigid boundary. Now talking about system, similarly just like boundary, here also we have three types of system. Now these things are very very important. They ask you application based question from this topic. Okay, now there are three systems. First one is an open system, second is a closed system, and third one is a isolated system. Now from statement it is very easy to identify that what that means. Now looking into the open system, now again recollecting the entire universe. So this is the system, this is the surrounding, and that thick line which I have drawn is the boundary. Now what it says, the open system, the energy or the mass can interact. That means it can transfer either the energy or the mass, it can transfer. So for an example, you can see very easy way you can understand. There is a pipe. Okay, so pipe, what happens, there is one inlet, one exit, and the flow is moving from one end to another end. Okay, so this is an open system. Okay, open system, the mass or the energy is transferred. Now looking into closed system, or another way of calling this closed system as a control mass. What you are controlling? Control mass, right? So that means there will be no mass exchange or transfer. So you can see this point, no mass interaction, only energy can transfer. So you might have seen in your daily life, there is a pressure cooker. So when you keep something in the pressure cooker, right, so do you transfer any mass? No, right? It's everything is packed and closed. So same thing happens over here. Okay, it's a closed system. Now isolated system, you know the word, what that mean, isolated, right? Neither the energy nor the mass going to exchange or transfer. Okay, so best example is a thermoflask. Okay, so if you if in a thermoflask, if you're going to keep a hot water, in summer mostly we prefer to keep cold water. If you're traveling, you prefer to keep a cold water. So if you keep the cold water, what happens? It will be remain intact, cold, right? Because there won't be any thermal there is no way to transmit mass nor the energy. Right? So however the temperature, whatever the temperature you have kept in that particular thing, it is going to maintain the same. I hope simultaneously whenever I am discussing the points, you try to note down the points in your own way. Okay, so when you look for before exam, it's going to be useful, or when you're preparing or practicing, it's going to be useful for you. So I have made in own way, so you also try to note down the points whenever we are discussing. Okay, now very importantly, thermodynamic properties. So this is also very very important, not only for this particular topic, even in future when you will go more deep into the propulsion thing. So you should know what is the difference between the extensive and the intensive property, how they are going to vary the parameter of mass. The mass is a very very important parameter, so that defines the thermodynamic property. Whether if it is a dependent, then we call extensive property. If it is independent, we call as an intensive property. So this is a important thing. So when the mass is a dependent one, we call as a extensive property. When independent one, we call as a intensive property. Now there sometimes in exam, okay, it's very common to get confused. Though you have practiced, it's very common. Now here I can tell you some of the tricks that how you can avoid syllogistic, or how you can remember. The thing is, here you see, we know there are two types. One is a thermodynamic property, have two types, that is extensive and intensive. So we know this property is a factor which depends on the mass. Okay, either it can be independent or the dependent factor. Now you see extensive and intensive. Intensive start with I, and independent also start with I. So you remember, independent of mass means nothing but it is going to be a intensive property. Okay, so remember in that way. I think it is one of the tricks that you can remember the slide points to avoid this mistake, because it's very common to be a student, because you're going to study 6 subjects and not possible to by heart each and everything. So always you have to remember some of the tricks, so only you can remember it for the lifelong. So this is how I used to prepare. If you have something better idea, please come forward with that. Now we will see what are the examples for this thermodynamic property for extensive and the intensive. Now as I've said, extensive property is a dependent or depends on mass, right? Now what are the things depends on mass? Volume, mass, internal energy, thermal enthalpy, entropy, energy, momentum. Even you can also include work transfer. Okay, work transfer. All those things are the extensive property which depends on mass. Now let's see what are the intensive property. Intensive means independent of mass. Okay. Now like temperature, pressure, density. Now see here, we are going to use specific volume. Now can you connect the relation between the specific volume and density? The specific volume denoted as small v, which is nothing but the reciprocal of the density. Okay. So you can directly connect that. So there is a high scope of asking a question on the multiple selection based question. So they can ask, choose which of the properties are going to be the extensive property or the intensive property, something like that. So there will be a random question, options will be given to you. So from that you need to choose the suitable one for that. Now next one, fifth point, you see the specific energy. There is a difference between the energy and the specific energy. Now if the energy is denoted by capital E, now specific energy dependent by small e, it's nothing but it's capital E by m. As here we have the mass dependency, we are dividing with the mass, so that mass and mass will get cancelled off, and that represents the specific energy. Okay. Similarly, we can also say, such point we can also say specific enthalpy. Okay. Specific enthalpy, if specific enthalpy denoted by capital H, so we can write as small h. And if the internal energy denoted by U, now see these are the notations whatever I have given. This may vary from textbook to textbook, because each and every author, they represent in their own way. So the main thing is, do not focus on much into the notations. Okay, focus on the points, because you might have grown up with a different nomenclature. In some of the textbook you can see internal energy is denoted by small e even. So it depends, again it depends on the author to author. Okay, seventh one can be of specific internal energy. So if there is any word called specific, so just close your eye and you can say it is a intensive property, which is not going to be a dependent factor, not going to be a dependent factor. Let's see the question. Okay, so they said volume, density, pressure, work. Okay. So still I have not discussed about path and point function. Okay, I have not discussed that, but still you can answer it. So density, you know, it is an intensive property. Pressure is also an intensive property. Okay, then volume is extensive property, work is also extensive property. All right, good. Now I will come to that point, what is the path and point function. We will come that gradually. Now first we'll see what are the thermodynamic process. Now this is also very important because in future you will be studying this gas dynamics. So in that thermodynamic cycle will be there. So you should know which of the process having the isothermal process, isobaric process, isochronic process. Okay, then we have adiabatic process, isentropic process. You should know that. Now what is meant by path? As clearly it has been shown over here. So suppose in the x and y we have some two different property. You can see that x and y we have two different property. X and y we have two different property. Now we have one point. Okay, we are doing something in one point here, point 1, and point 2 is this. Now how many ways it can move from? Okay, first of all let me check, am I audible? Okay. So how many ways it can process from 1 to 2? What are the different ways it can, right? It can be of different ways, like it can also come in this way and come to this 2, it can come to this way and come to this way. There are lot many ways, right? Now the process is that which way it is following, whether it is, if this I am naming A, B, C, D, E, F. Now whether you are going to follow the path A, that means first it will go straight, then vertically down, or it will go something like parabolic curve, or whether it will be a straight line. C point, you can see almost a straight line. Now D again a slightly parabolic curve, right? Then F again vertically first downwards, then horizontal. Now these are like which way it is coming. So that says a series of states through which a system passing through. So that is called as a path of the process. Now there are of different types, whether the temperature going to be the constant, whether the pressure going to be constant, whether the volume going to be constant, whether the entropy going to be the constant. So basically we will deals with temperature, pressure, volume, entropy, or sometimes even enthalpy. So how this process going to act? So first of all, thermal, isothermal means it's very easy to know. It is isothermal, same temperature. The temperature going to be same. Isobaric process. Now the pressure going to be the same. Isochronic, the volume going to be the same. Now this process are very important. You should know. This time, not only this time, every year they're asking an application based question from this particular topic. So last 2021 they have asked a question that for an combustion chamber, which of the process, they have given some series of process over there. Okay, isothermal process, isobaric, isochronic, isentropic. Okay, so already you know that in a combustion chamber it works as an isobaric process. That means if I want to draw a graph between the volume versus pressure, we used to see this line. 2 to 3 is our this combustion process, okay, of a gas turbine engine. Then we can see clearly state that it is a same temperature. The 2 point, that means P2 is same as P3. The temperature, the pressure is same. So it is an isobaric process. Okay, getting my point? So now it is clear what are the different process. Now cycle. What is a cycle? A system is said to have undergone a thermodynamic cycle if it returns to its initial state at the end of the process. That means now you have something like this. Let's consider our gas Brayton cycle. Okay, let's draw the Brayton cycle itself, T by S diagram. So we know T by S diagram, something like this, then goes hike, then again goes like this and like that. So here start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and come back to 0 again. Now if this thing comes back to 0 again, so that means it is an closed Brayton cycle. So it started with 0, it processed to 1, then 2, then 3, 4, 5 and finally come back to 0. So this is a cycle. So similarly this can also be the cycle. If it started from the point 0, then 1, then it has fallen to 2 and finally came back over here. Now this can also be the cycle. Okay, whatever might be the property x and y. So what happens, this is a very important statement, the change in the value of any property of a cycle process is 0. So now what they do in the gate, now they will give you this Brayton cycle. Now they will ask you find out the summation of pressure of this point and they will give you some data. Now once you understand for a Brayton cycle or whatever, if it is a closed cycle means it has to be a closed only, you can straight away write 0 as an answer. So that is a change of any value of a property. So whatever the property they will ask you to find out, sum of all the point properties or whatever it is, it has to be 0. That is the key concept over here. The same thing, if you see the 2021 paper, they have given a problem on circulation. So we know as a closed path, if the circulation, however the path it follows, it has to be 0. Circulation in a closed path, it has to be 0. So you don't need to calculate the value, substitute in the formula and get the result. You can simply or directly put the value there as 0. Okay, so this is one of the key concepts. You see, whatever the sum of the pressure is going to be 0, the sum of the volume, whatever it is going to be 0, even the sum of the temperature going to be the 0. This is one of the very key point. Now here let's proceed with the zeroth law. It's a very small topic, so we can finish on time. Zeroth law. Zeroth law is state, already have said, we have three body. You can see the body A, B, B and C, right?
Ma'am, your
Screen is not visible? Okay, just a second. I think I can see my screen. Okay, I will stop sharing and reshare it again. Okay, anyways, I will share it once again. Is it visible? Please let me know in the chat box if it's visible or not. Okay. Okay, fine. Now you see, we have, see this figure, observe this figure carefully. Now A is connected with the B, B is also connected with A. Now here you see A is also another side connected with C, C is also connected with A. Now both B and C is also connected with each other. Now whatever might be the temperature over here, right, temperature over here, so when they are connected all three together, that means it has to maintain the thermal equilibrium at certain point. If here we have 100 degrees Celsius, here we have 90 degrees Celsius, and here we have 80 degrees Celsius. At some point when we are connecting them all together, it will come back to a certain moderate value. Okay, moderate value because of the thermal equilibrium. So that is the statement they have given by the zeroth law of thermodynamics. If two bodies A and B are in thermal equilibrium with the third body called C, then they will also come back with the same thermal equilibrium with each other. That means they will come back with some moderate temperature. So all the body A, B and C will have the same temperature. A very simple statement. Now next important, talking about, before coming to this path function and point function, you should know what is heat and work. Okay, so heat, you can see the energy transformed across the boundaries of the system caused because of temperature difference between a system and its surrounding. Direction from high temperature to the low temperature. So already I have discussed. So whenever there is a body, it will always tends to move from high temperature to the low temperature. Now you should know how this heat and work done related with this sign convention. Already I have said this sign convention is very important, and we will solve some numericals based on this sign convention too. Now you can see this is a system, the outside thing is the surrounding, and the black color line which you can see across that is the boundary of the system. Now first we'll see the heat transfer. HT means heat transfer. Now when the heat is entering, okay, first understand, entering into the system. You can see when heat is entering, or I can say added into the system, we call as a positive heat transfer. Positive heat transfer, or we can write Q will be positive. Fine, Q is going to be positive. Now when the same thing, the heat is rejected out, heat is liberated, or there are lot many words you can use, liberated, expelled or transferred from the system. Okay, right. So main thing is it is removed from the system by any means. So it's going to be a negative heat transfer. Negative heat transfer. But just an opposite of heat transfer works in the work done. So when we say work is done on the system, okay, when work is done on the system, okay, or doing it, it is going to be a negative. Okay, but when the work is done by the system, okay, work is done by the system is going to be the positive. So you can take an example, a wonderful example of an gas turbine engine itself. Okay. So whenever you remember one more thing, gate, the simple thing they will connect in your aerodynamics example. Okay. So just take an example of your gas turbine engine. What are the components we have? We have inlet, we have compressor, followed with a combustion chamber, then followed with your turbine, finally the nozzle or the exhaust, right? So these are the sequence of the components that you have in your gas turbine engine. So where the work is actually done by the system in your gas turbine engine, can you tell me? Please use the chat box. Where actually it is used, where in the gas turbine engine the work is done by the system among this component. Work is done, that means work is positive. Okay, work is done. I'm asking, work is done by the system, and work done on the system is negative. It's a different thing. So who drives the compressor? Do you think it done by itself? Who drives the compressor? Very good, it's a turbine, right? So in the gas turbine engine, the work done by the system is a turbine, and work done on the system, because turbine only drives the power to rotate the shaft, and that's how the compressor blades are moving, right? Work done on the system is an example of a compressor. So you should know this examples. So remember, the work done on the system is negative, work done by the system is positive, heat transfer from the system is negative, heat transfer to the system is the positive. Now we will see two more things, the path function and the point function. Okay, so you can see this diagram over here, a small graphical representation. The graph follows with a velocity versus pressure, and there is one point, there are three processes, A, B and C, and it starts from point 1 and ends at the point 2. So the corresponding velocity, corresponding volume at the point 1, we have V1 and pressure P1, and point 2 we have volume as V2 and pressure P2. Fine. Now what we will see, the difference in the path function and the point function. Now what the path function says, the area under each curve represents for each area A, B and C. Now you see here, if I want to draw the area of this complete this three process A, B and C. Now if I want to draw for the first one, it will be something like, okay, if this is a graph, we have the point here to here, right? Here to here. So the area under this going to be my work done, that you know, the area under following curve is going to be the work done for the particular process. So this is for A. Now next one, if I draw the straight line, something like that, this is for B, right? And if I want to draw for the C, it will be like this, C. This is for B, A, B and C. Now you can understand that clearly, the area under this, each are every area are different. right? That means it is not the function of end process. It doesn't mean the finally what is the result you are getting. It is all about which path you are following. Could you able to get my point? So this path function means it is depends on path. Which path, whether you are following the A path, whether you are following the B path, whether you are following the C path. Okay, so heat transfer is the same as which path you are following. That means it depends on which process actually you are following. The path will represents you the process, path process, right? So each A, B, C, this curve will represent you which process. It is irrespective of what is a final, initial and final point, right? It is depends on the process. So for that, if I want to find out the change in work done, right, we cannot exactly different shade. We cannot actually finally we cannot finally integrate that, because if I want to find out this point 1 to 2, we cannot integrate this entire process, because it is depends on the which path it has followed, right? Because each of the area is going to be different. So it says that this this one, okay, this function, whatever the path function is in exact and imperfect differential. So that change is, that is a change in work done, okay, change in work done, or when you want to find with respect to the initial point with the final point, it is not equal to W2 minus W1. But we can write that whenever we find the area, we can write down in W12. Okay, now when we'll see the next one, it will be clear. So path function is depends on which path or the which process it follows. Next one is the point. Now we'll take the same example as we have seen. We have volume, we have pressure. One is curve A, one is B, another is C. It is a function which depends on the final state, irrespective of any process. It doesn't concern with any process. Let's see the what they have explained. The change in the thermodynamic properties of the system in a change of state is independent of the path followed. It does not depend on whether it has followed in path A, path B or path C. It only matters of its initial and final state. So what is the final? Initial is point 1, final is point 2. It only matters. So this is an exact and perfect differential. So in that case, if I want to find out the area of that particular point, right, so I can easily say that V2 minus V1, it has to be V1. Okay, if I am finding out the volume of the particular area, so I can use that change in volume equals with respect to 1 to 2, that V2 minus V1. Clear? So this there is example of internal energy. Now internal energy you can say as an example of point function. That means if you want to find du, we can write u2 minus u1 from initial to final. But if you want to find out as here like heat or work done, both heat and work done is a path function. It depends on process, okay, as well as work done too. Not only heat transfer as well as work done is a path function. Now volume, so we have volume, then internal energy. These are the point function. Okay, these are the point function. Now it is clear. Any doubt? Do you have any doubt? You can unmute and speak. Okay. So we will see one small problem. Right. Let's look into this problem. Okay. One simple problem we can see. During one cycle, the working fluid in an engine engages in two work interactions, 15 kilojoule to the fluid and 44 kilojoule from the fluid, and the three heat interactions, two of which is known, 75 joule to the fluid and 40 joule from the fluid. Evaluate the magnitude and direction of the third transfer. So they have given the work done, and so let's consider a system, right? And two work done has been given to the fluid and from the fluid. To the fluid is 15 kilojoule, from the fluid is 44 kilojoule. So from the fluid is going to be positive and to the fluid is going to be negative. Then three heat interactions, two of them are known. Then again to the fluid is 75 kilojoule, then 40 kilojoule is from the fluid, and another is, let's consider Q3, which is not known. Okay, not known. Now we need to evaluate the magnitude and direction. So in this case, whenever there is a closed cycle, right, the change in heat transfer is going to be the change in work done. This is another concept. Okay, so change in heat transfer is going to be the change in work done. So why I have made closed integral? Because it is a one cycle. Cycle means from where it is initially started, it will come back to the same. Okay, now this, how you can do? Whatever the sum of Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 going to be equal to the W1 by W2. So if it is W1, this is W2, and this is Q1 and this is Q2, substitute that, you will get the answer. Now here in the Q2 from the system, so it has to be negative. Now substitute those values, 75 minus 40 plus Q3, 44 minus 15. Now find out Q3 and see whether you are getting the answer or not. You are getting the answer as minus 6. So always be careful with the units. Everywhere they have given in kilojoule. Now sometimes what they do is they also change the, maybe you are getting here kilojoule. Now answer in the options they will give you in terms of joule. So you should know how to convert in terms of joule. Minus 6 into 10 power 3 joule.